So first task, drafting terms and conditions for web apps, services, e-commerce, and websites, right? Drafting terms and conditions for web apps, services, e-commerce, and websites. Also, I want you to do something as we are going through these tasks, right? I want you to see, do you know these tasks, right? Do you know how to do these things, or can you guess how to do it? And I also want you to think that, is this a task which is only relevant in India, or will it be applicable globally? Because you understand, if it is applicable globally, like for example, this task, drafting terms and conditions for web apps, services, e-commerce, and websites. Do you think the terms and conditions you draft is very different in India and very different in USA and Germany? Do you think it is the case? Or do you think no matter where in the world, as long as it is in English, it will be pretty much the same? And it's a fact that anywhere in the world, people draft their terms and conditions in English. Even in Latin America, they might be speaking Portuguese or Spanish, Mexican, whatever. Mexican people speak Spanish, but they are still drafting their agreements and terms and conditions on their website in English. Yes or no? Do you guys know that? Anywhere in the world, people are drafting agreements most of the time in English. So that's an advantage. But do you realize that the terms and conditions of websites, web apps, and these kind of web services and websites, it's same across the world? It's not really so much different. There can be some difference because of some local laws. For example, in the Europe, there's GDPR. So the privacy, okay, nobody's saying anything. Deepankar has given an answer. Subhanshi is saying, everyone else is quiet. How about DMCA takedown notice? Do you guys know what is DMCA? Anybody knows the full form of DMCA? What is DMCA? Have you heard this term before? No? It is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Okay. So under DMCA, you can give a takedown notice, a very effective law for copyright infringement, and you can get content taken down by giving a DMCA takedown notice. Okay. And this is even in India. If we have a copyright infringement, instead of sending a notice under Indian Copyright Act, we'll be sending a DMCA copyright notice takedown request. Okay. And it works really well for various reasons. I don't want to teach law today, but DMCA takedown notices are very common. And if there's infringing content, video, blog post, anything, abuse of trademark on e-commerce and social media platforms. Can you give me an example? Why is this important? Why is this such a frequently arising case that people have to do this? So basically, there is a lot of fraudulent copying of logo, copying of trade name, trademark, right? So what stops me from, how many times there are, people will just create duplicate products, right? Clothes, shoes, bags, everything. Like, so it's there, right? Counterfeits, right? Sometimes you are selling second-hand products. Sometimes you are selling, unauthorized imports, right? Unauthorized production, unauthorized imports. And there is constant dilution of brands online in this manner, right? So people are creating, deceptively similar trade names, deceptively similar trademarks. And it's very common. And, let's say there's a famous French brand, and that brand is not in India, but I can start selling it on Amazon, saying, I am selling a t-shirt from this brand, which is not real, but Puma and Poma, right? So all these kind of things are there. So abuse of trademark on e-commerce and social media platforms is extremely common, right? The counterfeiters are not selling from shops today. They are selling online. They are going on Facebook groups and Telegram groups and selling. And it's a huge battle between lawyers and all these trademark infringement people. Brands are always looking out to prevent their trademark abuse. So abuse of trademark on e-commerce and social media platforms is a very common scenario. And this is global, right? You can't say that, oh, I will only do it in this country. Like, sometimes it's happening across borders. And there is a lot of work in this that is arising today because of also boom in e-commerce, right? Because e-commerce is such a important, it's the most important marketplace, e-commerce today, right? and there are a lot of new e-commerce brand, lot of e-commerce stores. It is not a question of a few big brands anymore. There are so many brands everywhere. So many brands are coming up regularly, right? Software development, deployment. Sometimes my assistant misses out on points. So good, somebody pointed this out. The fifth point I'm going to tell you anyway. The fifth point is not written in the slides, but I was talking about people are basically infringing trademark on Google Ads. So for example, let's say an example, right? So if you look for 𝗏𝗏𝗂, now imagine that using the name 𝗏𝗏𝗂, someone puts a Google ad. Google has a policy of allowing this ad. But I can say that this is a violation of my trademark. How can you use my name to run an ad? So, you have to realize that when people are searching by a name, so if somebody is searching 𝗏𝗏𝗂, there's a high chance that that person is looking for a 𝗏𝗏𝗂 course. Now, when they're looking for 𝗏𝗏𝗂, let's say they're looking for 𝗏𝗏𝗂 technology law course, and at that time I a competitor sets up an ad on Google and tries to take that client away. So basically they're using my trademark to place an ad against me and luring away my customers. So there are places in the world where this has been held to be illegal and a violation of trademark infringement. And there are other jurisdictions where the law is not clear yet. And Google's policy is that they will allow the ad. I can understand why, because they are making money from this. So they don't have any problem. They're like, we will run the ad. So what is going to happen is that you have to go to the court and file a trademark infringement case, get a notice issued and send it to Google and file a case against Google. The moment you do that, Google will stop those ads, by the way. Most probably they'll stop those ads, high chances. Because Google knows that only 5-10% of very serious brands are going to file such cases. And it is not in interest of Google to fight all of those cases. It may or may not fight that case, but it may stop that ad at that point. And if it is going to continue, still it will be careful, right? And these are very important things, like, so it has become the norm. I don't know how long this will go on. At least at the moment, it is a norm. If somebody is filing somebody is running ads with your brand name, then you sue Google and you sue that company saying that you are infringing our trademark. And this is a very, very important thing. And same thing is happening in Amazon. So Amazon also has the same feature. And if people are violating your trademark on Amazon as a platform, then you sue Amazon, because Amazon is not so easy to work with. I mean, if you file a case, they will respond. Otherwise, they won't. Okay, the sixth point was software development agreement, right? So imagine that you want to develop a software and you hire a company or a software development agency or a developer, independent developer, and they create it for you. You know the story of Facebook, right? But they hired them to create a social media for them. And then Mark Zuckerberg went and built it for himself, right? Do you guys remember this story? Anyone watch this? Anybody watch this? Yes, no, maybe, yeah. In the social network. So what the Winklevoss twins, what mistake did they make? They made a grave mistake of not signing a proper agreement with Mark Zuckerberg, right? He didn't sign an agreement. Had they signed an agreement, it would be very different. So software development, but it's not the only reason people sign, because imagine that I'm going to spend 10 lakh rupees buying a software or getting someone to develop a software. And 10 lakh is nothing. People can spend 20 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crore on a software. Can be more, maybe 20 crores, 100 crores also. Now, when you are spending that much amount of money, then you want to get into an agreement and negotiate an agreement about terms and conditions and rights and responsibilities.